Welcome back, Truth Seeker. April 23rd, 2019. The mainstream news headline today is that the Sri Lankan officials have said the bombings on Easter Sunday in Colombo were revenge for the Christchurch attack on the Idza March, March 15th, 2019. If you're new here, I told people months in advance to circle the dates of March 15th and April 21st. They were ripe for New World Order tragedies. And both of these events are carried out by the governments of the world, not Islamic boogeymen. If you're new here, we talk about the code that Masonry in high places operates by. That's the code of letters and numbers within the English language. It comes from Kabbalah. If you've heard that term, the Cabal, for the secret political faction, it comes from Kabbalah. And in Kabbalah's text, the Book of Formation, it's stated in the first paragraph, right when you open the book. God created the world by merging the letter with the number with the word. And the New World Order, which is a Masonic alliance in high places, they play God over the world, carrying out rituals such as mass killing by this code. Notice the emphasis in the headline, revenge for Christchurch. We're going to talk about why revenge is the word today, but we're just going to start right here with this headline. Revenge for Christchurch. Anytime the media puts parentheses on a word or set of words, it's because there's numbers behind those words that are relevant to the story. So revenge for Christchurch sums to 127, like religion. First we had the 2 mosque attacks in Christchurch, obvious religious reference, obvious mockery, mosques being attacked in Christchurch, an ongoing agenda since 9/11 and really before that to divide the Islamic and Christian people of the world. And then you also have bombing, summing to 127. Further, you have Scottish Rite of Freemasonry summing to 127. And if you look at the leaders of the world, most of them belong to this fraternity. The leader of New Zealand, her father, a Scottish Rite Freemason. And like I said, April 21st, look at the parallels. The New Zealand attack came 33 weeks from New Zealand's leader's birthday. Then in Sri Lanka, the attack comes 33 weeks from the Sri Lankan leader's birthday. 33 weeks right on the nose. Remember, Masonry 33, secrecy 33, order 33. Very special number to Masonry is 33. It comes from Kundalini. Today, April 23rd, 2019, it's also a date with 66 numerology. Christchurch equals 66. Remember, 66 is the 11th triangular number. Jesus equals 11. Revelation, the 66th book of the Bible, is about the return of Jesus. So revenge for Christchurch. Now today is April 23rd, the 113th day of the year. And notice the word revenge equals 113. Revenge is the word today. And again, what is 113? By the way, happy birthday to YouTube. Today, YouTube was established in history 2005. But today, April 23rd, the 113th day of the year, where does this number come from? Again, it comes from the Talmud. In the Talmud, it stated that somebody who's Jewish can lie to somebody who is not Jewish as long as it's within a legal setting, which again is everywhere in this world. So, Baba Kamal 113a, Jews may use lies to circumvent a Gentile, a non-Jew. And so many words with the 113 connection that have to do with dishonesty. Mainstream 113, and the mainstream's nothing but deception, nothing but lies and propaganda, back to your regularly scheduled programming. Mainstream, dishonest, perverted, not true, not honest, not factual, disinfo, politics, perjury, fiction, bullshit, infidelity, divorce, sinister, and even more. 113. All of these stories are bullshit. These are all New World Order false flags. People should have known that since September 11, 2001. You know? when 2 of the world's biggest buildings came down in a perfect demolition, and then 8 hours later a third building fell in a perfect demolition for no reason. And then they blamed a boogeyman in a cave. And then they made up reasons for war. And then we're still at war here all these years later. You know, couldn't have been any more obvious. You had the son of George Herbert Walker Bush as president when 9/11 happened, where 11 years to the day earlier, September 11th, 1990, his father, while he was president, said, you know, the new world order, a world freer of terrorism. And these people speak in opposites. When they say a world freer of terrorism, they mean a world full of terrorism. And most people don't know that the original definition of terrorism is government by intimidation. That's what you got going on all over the world. And the other thing I didn't say about 113 is Scottish equals 113, as in the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. Covered it about 1,000 times on this channel in case you doubt that. Probably more like 10,000. So, from the Christchurch attack on March 15th, the Ides of March, which we predicted in October 2018, from that day to the April 21st attack is 37 days later. And do you remember how an official in New Zealand got much criticism for coming out and blaming MOSSAD for the New Zealand attack? I covered that story if you missed it. See if it still pulls up the headlines. New Zealand Muslims sorry after leader suggested MOSSAD was behind Christchurch attack. So if you missed my video on this, you can go back and check it out. There's quite a few interesting details to it. But in light of these two incidents being 37 days apart, MOSSAD 37, bombing 37, Israel 37, Netanyahu 37, actually a big number to the history of Israel. Theodore Herzl, said to be the first Zionist, he would drop dead at age 44 on July 3rd, 3/7, like 37, 44 years before the establishment of Israel, May 14th, 1948. And again, July 3rd, 3/7, notice Israel and Netanyahu, 37 and 44. Zion also 44. Theodore Herzl in the Most Pure Cipher, 73. July 3rd can also be written 7/3. So this is the founder of Zionism, and just making the point about how these people operate by this code, which comes from Kabbalah, which is Jewish mysticism. They perform so many rituals around it, from false flag terrorism to ritual murder. I do believe that they believe in reincarnation. So I imagine that Theodore Herzl thought he would come back to this earth as long as he participated in this ritual, which would help bring about Israel. And Israel was completely established by the numbers. Go back and watch my recent video on the Battle of the Benjamins in the recent Israel election. So anyway, 37 days later, if you count the span of days, it's 38 days. It's also 38 days. Death, murder, killing, RIP, they're all 38. You know, if you use the alphabetic order, killing 74, like how the Christchurch attack was on the 74th day of the year. And from the first video I put out on the recent bombings in Sri Lanka, I talked about the parallels between Christchurch and Sri Lanka. Again, the 74th day of the year in Christchurch, Jesus, Messiah, Gospel, Parables, Cross, they all sum to 74. They said 7.4% of the population is Christian in Sri Lanka. And they didn't report that figure by accident, because they report everything by the numbers. If you notice here, it's 5 weeks and 3 days, the span. If you notice here, it's 5 weeks and 2 days. We're going to talk about 52 and 53 here as well. So again, this is meant to divide the people of the world amongst their religion. And with them, regards to them coming out and blaming ISIS today, saying ISIS took responsibility, which is nothing but a Western boogeyman. Some say it really stands for Israeli Secret Intelligence Service. With regards to 5 weeks and 2 days, ISIS 52, terrorist 52. Remember what day Osama bin Laden died? Do you remember? May 2nd, 5-2. Exactly 119 weeks after Obama took office. 119, like 11/9, like September 11th. His father supposedly died September 3rd, 1967, the day leaving 119 days left in the year. All-Seeing Eye 119, Star of David 119, Orthodox 119, Ashkenazi Jews 119. So anyway, just notice ISIS is 52, like terrorist, like government, like NWO. The New World Order is the one world government that operates with terrorist principles. And by the way, the full name of ISIS, Islamic State of Iraq and Syria. 414, just like false flag in the Sumerian cipher. False flags being pinned on ISIS, the Al-Qaeda affiliate. Also, another story that seems curious, right after the two religious structures burned on April 15th, Notre Dame in Paris, France, and the Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem, we heard a lot about billionaires stepping up and donating all this money. One of them donated 113 million. Another donated 226 million, reminding of Victor Hugo, born on 226. If you missed my work on that, you can go back and check it out. But now, after this tragedy, less than a week later, we're hearing about another billionaire again. And supposedly he lost 3 out of 4 children in Sri Lanka, which seems awfully curious. You could say, I guess his children were in the wrong place at the wrong time. Don't forget this New World Order, it's made up of billionaires. Anyhow, 3 out of 4 murder equals 34. Interesting. And his name had standout gematria, sums to 84, like Masonry, like Jesuit, like Zionism. I noticed that he was the age of 46, and that's the sacrifice age. Sacrifice equals 46. That was also a big number that we talked about in regards to the attack. The Masonic agenda is order out of chaos, in Latin ordo ab chao, gematria 46, like chaos is 46. This happened in Colombo. Colombo means dove. Notice chaos and dove, the overlap with 46 and 19. The attack was on a date with 19 numerology. And also on the anniversary of Prince's death, who died by the numbers, whose death we predicted before it happened. All from understanding this code. And what's one of Prince's most famous songs? When Doves Cry? I don't think it's an accident. I think it's all part of the sick jokes. Again, the world of entertainment's full of predictive programming. When Doves Cry, Colombo, Dove. One day after the anniversary of Columbine. Colombo, Columbine. Columbine was big in the news all week leading up to the anniversary. And just one more point. Now that they're officially connecting this to Christchurch, remember how Donald Trump tweeted out, I don't think Donald Trump controls his Twitter. Puppet Trump. All of his messages are coded, but he supposedly tweeted out that at least 138 million people were dead and badly injured. Remember, Donald Trump equals 138, so does federal. This headline that CNN had up much of the day, gruesome bombings shatter Eastern calm, 138. And now that they're connecting it to Christchurch, Christchurch is 138. So, what do you know? It's just another day of mainstream deception by the numbers. And I'm sure there'll be a whole lot more by the end of the day, especially on the 113th day of the year. We'll leave it there. Until next time, Truth Seeker.